My redneck mother sang redneck mother, cooking us kids something to eat. Daddy drank tequila like Pancho Villa. When the Cowboys won or they got beat, that's Texas. That old Lone Star gravel making old truck rattle like to get your boot bit. Stepped on snake, Lord have mercy, the ground gets thirsty. Better buy a resistol or find some shade. That's Texas. That's Texas. That's Texas, home of George Strait, the king. Ain't no such thing as chili with beans. That's Texas, hard as a flat top griddle. Ain't got a band if you ain't got a fiddle. That's Texas, with a capital T. If I can't go to heaven, I got a plan B, and that's Texas. Yeah, that's Texas. Them two-step queens will bring you to your knees. Yeah, buddy, God sure blessed them. There's 50 states, but at the end of the day, there's one that you don't mess with. That's Texas, home of Robert Earl Keen. Ain't no such thing as chili with beans. That's Texas, hard as a flat top griddle. Ain't got a band if you ain't got a fiddle. That's Texas, with a capital T. If I can't go to heaven, I got a plan B, and that's Texas. Yeah, that's Texas. Tell them about it, boys. Gets bright when the stars come on, where every bar is a honky-tonk. That's Texas, home of the CJB. Ain't no such thing as chili with beans. That's Texas, hot as a flat top griddle. Ain't got a band if you ain't got a fiddle. That's Texas, with a capital T. If I can't go to heaven, I got a plan B, and that's Texas. Yeah, that's Texas. Come and take it, boys. Yeah.
Some say that racing just hasn't been the same for a while now. We cleaned up the planet, built a healthier and more sustainable society. All great things. But those of us who love racing, well, we lost touch with its spirit. When personal transportation devices went away and sim racing was all we had left, cars and tracks didn't connect with us like they used to. That's when someone had the bright idea to send unmanned cars to space. It sounded crazy, but what good idea hasn't at first? And that's how we ended up finding Proteus, the planet that became a racing playground. It wasn't long after we got to Proteus that we got some cars and tracks up and working, and Exocross was born, and soon a new generation of stars emerged. They found their fame on the backs of the wildest racing imaginable. But once you've experienced Exocross, there's no turning back.
All right, folks, welcome to Texas. You couldn't tell from before, we're racing here in the great state of Texas, the Texas Motor Speedway, and welcome to the Mag Real Estate 100. You're looking for any needs in the San Antonio, Texas area, hit up Mag Real Estate San Antonio, Texas. These guys are just finishing up practice, so a little intro. I'm Kai Schapper. Welcome to KNS Sim Productions. And welcome to the James Wagoner Welding Truck Series. I did hear that we might have a little bit of a birthday tomorrow. So Mr. James, if you're out there, we built this thing just for you, man.
It's your birthday today. It's your birthday today. Rock and roll and celebrate. Celebrate, we lose control and you cut the cake. Cut that Tonight is your destiny. Wait so share toast with your closest mates. It's your birthday today. It's your birthday today. Grab your goodie bags. Open your gifts. Blow out your candles.
All right, James. Well, I hope you like the little birthday gift to you. Happy birthday to you, buddy, and glad to have you all with us here. If you can, in the chat, leaves Mr. James Wagner happy birthday in the chat. I heard it's tomorrow, and thank him for making this whole thing happen, bringing the sponsorships all together. These guys are heading into qualifying. You'll see on the left-hand side of your screen the best times that come across. Currently on board here with Christopher Barker, running his first lap here. Monday night's winner. Not going to brag too much, but he might be sitting in the booth, so don't get to really race on Wednesdays, but make sure that I race on Mondays and got a good bit of broadcast with Mr. Flieger over at Flieger Farm Television, who covers the Gen 6 series over here. Right now, Barker, leading your qualifying, drops down one position. Chris Melton takes over that top spot. Chris heading on to his second lap here, heads to the backstretch. And it does look like Steele, Hurst are going to be there as well. Melton still holding that after 8 guys on their first lap. Barker does come around on his second lap. We'll see right here what Melton gets on the second lap. And does look like an improvement. So right now, your sitting pole sitter is Melton. Hawkins on first lap gets 29.97. So we will see what Rick Baldwin has for the field right here on his second lap. 30.28 and 2 30.10, so improves one spot. Matthew Gall hops up into that second position on the second lap, or the third position on the second lap. Mr. Steven Shue coming around for his second lap right here. See what he can do. Cuts the track just a little bit. Might qualify as a time, though, as long as he doesn't get that 1X. And does not look like he is going to improve. So he's going to hold down that third position for now. You got Matthew Barker here on track. The second of the Barker duo. First lap, a 30.17. Puts him in 12th. See if he can get this thing rolling on the second lap. Heads into the turn 3, tries to get that thing all the way to the bottom of the track, but also wants to make sure he's carrying speed on the exit. If you float up a little bit here, it's not going to hurt you too bad. As he comes across the line, we'll see what Barker gets here. And takes a second to load, and he is going to lay down a heater, dropping Chris back to the 5th position, and he takes over the 4th. Others on track, Daniel Love is done, Chris Ramsey is done, Dale Adamson here. Might be on a hot lap, we'll see. Does look like he's not put down a time yet, so good to see him coming around. And he's gonna go a little higher than most, try and diamond off of the corner, coming out of 4 here. Keep away from that wall. Really tricky to keep it tight off that wall, and Adamson on the first lap with a 30-40, he's going to have one more chance to come around. Really hugs that inside line, gets it good, comes off a little shallow on the corner, going to scrub off some speed there. And as of right now, Gall and Barker, same lap times, but Gall just maybe a 1,000th of a second quicker here. And Dale Adamson comes across the line, cuts that track like a few others have, and See if he improves here. He does, and Adamson does. Sorry, not Matthew Gall. Mr. Dale Adamson does improve and finds himself in the 6th position. These guys have about 30 seconds left of qualifying, and there's no one else on the track. So we're going to take a short commercial break, and we will be right back for the green flag action.
Want to unleash head-to-head NASCAR racing action? You are the power. Turn on the machine. Micro Machines. Now it's you versus NASCAR champion Jeff Gordon. With new Thunderblasters, you can hear the engines roar. Add new dueling drivers and make the ultimate racing connection. It's heart-pounding NASCAR action. You're racing neck and neck with Gordon. Blast into the straightaway, but watch out for traffic. It's a duel to the finish.
Hey, pretty mean matchup.
Yeah, pretty mean machine.
You are the power. Turn on the machine. Micro Machines. NASCAR Micro Machines. Each sold separately.
Ruff-Neck-Racing would like to thank our sponsor, Wagoner Welding. Wagoner Welding is a family-owned and operated business located in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. They specialize in custom-built truck beds and framework of all types. You can reach them at 336-670-3427 or visit the shop located at 446 DeHart Church Road.
All right, folks, welcome back here. We're going to go through your grid and your pole sitter for tonight with the Flieger Farm Television on the Pole Award is going to be Mr. Dalton Steele. And we'll see if we can get these guys gridded up for you guys. Going to be starting in that 45 Brandt machine. Second place, Chris Melton. Third place, Matthew Gall. Mr. Matthew Barker is starting 4th. Right behind him, the other Barker, Mr. Christopher in the 46. In the 6th position, Dale Adamson, 7th. Daniel Love rolling off 8th is Dougie Wagner. Chris Ramsey rolling off in the 9th position in that number 13. Chad Hawkins in the 84 truck. In the 11th, Johnny Hurst in that 58. Alex Bahiri is in 12th. Rolling off 13th tonight, Mr. Jimmy Rowdy Pyland. Rick Baldwin rolling off 14th in that 19 machine. 01 of Jeffrey Ledford rolling off 15th. Stephen Shue 16th. Mr. John Houston in the 28 rolling off 17th. Tim Richardson, the number 2, the man, the myth, the legend, starting in the back, trying to make his way all the way to the front with no qualifying time. And Pete Dillon doing the same with no qualifying time. Your last 3 did not set all qualifying time, so they are going to work and try and get to the front. These guys are going to have a quick pace lap here, so we are going to make sure that we did fix it compared to last week, and we do have the correct thing. Instead of the best time, we have the gap set up for you. These guys are lining in behind the pace car here. You guys need any more sights and sounds at home, let me know. We can roll up the audio and turn it down a little bit on the headset so I can hear myself talk this week. We've got 19 trucks gridded up this week. Dalton Steele pretty excited, I'm sure, to lead these guys. Barker of the Matthew kind starting in 4th, and Christopher Barker of the kind is starting in 5th. So these guys hopefully get a good little family battle going on tonight. The good old Barker boys in the 46 and the 96. These guys are going to be rocking into the corner here. Should see some great racing here at the Mag Real Estate 100 here in Texas. 4 corners, 100 laps. These guys are going to get all ready to go. Pace truck is going to hop down into pit lane. And we are green flag here in the Mag Real Estate 100 at Texas Motor Speedway. Dalton Steele gets off to a great start here. Takes that bottom line away from Chris Melton. Melton, though, hops right in behind him on that. Barker a little high on exit. Ooh, we got one low, saves it. Looks like he's going to save it, get back up on track here. And Dalton Steele here with a big lead as he's going to come across and lead lap 1. These guys behind him, he's loving what he's seeing, this battle right behind him between Chris Melton and Mr. Barker. The other Barker, Chris, rolling that low side. Learned a little bit of how the track was running from some drivers that were doing some testing. Seemed like the bottom side was good at the beginning of the run. but later on kind of chewed those tires out. Hopefully you guys aren't burning out the tires too quick. 3 sets tonight behind the wall. Chris Melton continues the lead, is from about 4th on back, even 3rd on back, pretty close. Dalton Steele, love what he's seeing these guys battle back here. Alex Bahiri back here in the 9th position, up 3 spots from the start of this race in that beautiful Dunkin' Donuts truck. Won last week in the ASDR Next Gen Series at Homestead, but your winner last week here in the James Wagner Welding Truck Series was Mr. Chris Barker. Chris going on the outside of Dale here, trying to fight off Dale for this 3rd position. Daniel Love, down 3 positions from the start of this, maybe just being a little patient at the beginning of this race, rocking that number 71 Ford Performance truck. Probably just letting these guys in front of him roll around and make sure he doesn't get caught up in anything too early. Matthew Barker, though, right behind him, Christopher Barker. These guys are rolling 2nd and 3rd. The Barker boys really rolling here at Texas tonight. Want to make sure those fans at home get a good battle and some great racing out of these guys tonight. Got the field mostly single filed out. Behind these guys, Alex Bahiri on the inside line, trying to make the pass on Chad Hawkins. Alex up 4th position, and we have an accident right in front of them. Matthew Gall collected. And that is not good, not terrible. Doesn't look like Gall took on too much damage. Looks like the front of that truck is a little bent out of shape. Not too bad though. Sure, these guys do have one fast repair tonight, so not going to be too terrible. Matthew Gall going to catch these guys up front. Your leader for the first few laps here at Texas, though, is Dalton Steele. Sorry, folks. Want to make sure we get that all corrected. Dalton Steele has led the first 6 laps of this race. Barker boys working together, though, getting to the front of this pack, making sure they put on a show. Does look like Dalton Steele is going to pit here, though, kind of early, but the strategy did work early in the race last week, and you guys know what time it is.
Reno, it's time. Pit stop.
So those boys will head down pit road. Melton does look like he followed him, so your new leader of the race is Mr. Ace himself, Matthew Barker, taking over this first position. Right behind him, Chris Barker. So these guys will start side by side on this restart. Since we got a little bit of time here, we're not going to throw it to caution. What we're going to do, go over some of the race info today here at Texas Motor Speedway. So 1.5 miles, roughly, some different racing measurements based on the series. 28 degrees of banking in the first 2 turns. So 1 and 2, 24 degrees of banking in 3 and 4, 5 degrees of banking on the front and the back stretch, and it's pretty wide track here at Texas. 78 degrees, 45% participation, 2-mile-an-hour wind. So these guys shouldn't feel too much movement in the truck tonight. So nothing too bad. Looks like it's pretty calm weather. This track should be pretty temped out. And it's always good to see the Barker boys working up front. Dale Adamson here in 3rd place. Alex Bahiri in 4th. Chad Hawkins in 5th. See if we can get you guys a better camera angle. Daniel Love here moves away up to 6th position after some pit stops. Jimmy Pyland up 6 spots into the 7th, followed by Rick Baldwin in the 19, who's up the same. These guys are going to double file out, so we're going to round out the top 10 with Dalton Steele, who just pitted, down 8 positions after that into the 9th. And Dougie Wagner rounds out your top 10. Pretty fast pace lap up here. So does look like Matthew Barker has chosen the inside line for this restart. Lights are out on the pace truck up front. strategy here, though, pretty early. Does look like Dalton Steele is going to try and shake things up here, try and take some tires early. Did see it in the Texas race on Monday night over at Flieger Farm TV here at Ruff-Neck-Racing. I got involved in an incident early in the race, kind of helped my tire strategy out, whether I wanted it to or not, and went on to win the race pretty good. Caught down the field after starting in the back and had a good time racing with all these fellas here. Alex Bahiri, though, man, up 8 spots, restarting 4th. Had some wheel trouble throughout the week. Hopefully that doesn't get to him through this restart. The pace car is going to head off into pit lane here momentarily. These guys are coming out of 4 right now. Matthew Barker getting ready to rock and roll. He's going to have to get into that Geico restart zone. Pretty easy to see. Does look like we got one blinker in the back, but gets us squared away, and we're off again on this restart, heading into lap 9 of the Mag Real Estate 100 here in Texas. And I just noticed, folks, I forgot to go back on that caution. So, you know what? We're not going to forget that the rest of the night, all right? So, next caution, we'll make sure that we see all that, and we might even go back. We get a little extra time on the, hopefully no more cautions, but if we have another one, we'll go back and see what happened on that last one. Matthew Barker, though, trying to fight off Chris here. Chris really using that bottom side. Matthew going to wash up just a little bit, gets the better run off of the corner, though. Draft is really strong here at Texas Motor Speedway. Coming across for lap 10. These guys are going to continue to battle for the lead. Farther back, though, Johnny Hurst working that bottom lane on Chad Hawkins. Chad Hawkins was caught up a little bit in the incident. You can see it in the bend of that front of that truck on that Miller light truck. So, or just Miller, not Miller Light, just Miller. So these guys are going to continue to battle away. Right behind them, does look like Dougie is trying to fight off on the bottom side. Really hard here, though. You really don't get a drive off. Jeffrey Ledford really stuck behind these guys. Does look like we got one coming off the pit road. Number 78 here, Matthew Gall. He's going to be a few laps down after that unfortunate incident that he was caught up at the beginning of this race, but had plenty of time to get some lucky dogs. Back up front, does look like Christopher Barker has taken over the lead of this race here at Texas Motor Speedway. Got a fast truck there. Chris is always a pretty quick guy here. Doesn't matter where we're racing. Pretty quick last week when we were at Homestead Motor Speedway. These guys have 2 races left here, and he is fighting for points. So sure, he is going to want to try and defend that win. Got guy a little loose in the back. 3rd place, Dale Adamson, right on the rear bumper. Alex Bahiri right behind them, and to round out your top 5 right now, Daniel Love, the number 71, up 2 spots into that top 5. Chris is going to take it on that low side there. Continue to battle a 4 position with the 4 gentlemen that are right behind him. Yeah, gets a pretty good run here on the backstretch. Mostly single file throughout the field, though. Here you got a side-by-side battle here at the front. Alex Bahiri trying to get on the bottom side of Dale Adamson really using that diamond out of the corner. Gets a better run off than Alex. It's going to really, when he cuts across the nose of Alex, though, nothing wrong in it, not tapping him or anything, but it's really blocking the air off that exit. Alex having to check up on the exit of this. And for all you fans out there of the Barker boys, we're going to go on board with one of them for one lap, Mr. Matthew Barker. You see Dale here coming across, working that inside line on Matt right now, trying to take that 2nd position away from him. Going into 1, looks like Dale is going to get the work done here. Matt probably just working that high side a little too much. He's going to burn off the rubber, stays up there. Dale does not get a good run off the corner, does not fade off to the wall. So he's going to be a little slow here. Farther in the back, Got Steven Shu here in the 00, trying to make the move on Chad Hawkins for the 12th position. Steven Shu up 3 positions from the beginning of this race, running that bottom line all the way to the line. Jimmy Pyland up here in the 7th position, up 6 spots, really hanging behind Dalton. Kind of, maybe a little hard. Does look like we got some blinkers up front, so that's never good to see. Does look like Matt might have blinked a little bit, and maybe Dalton still blinking just a hair. Probably not going to help these guys as they try to avert traffic throughout this run. And Matt Barker continues the lead here in the Mag Real Estate 100. Want to thank all the sponsors that helped put this together. James Wagner Welding, who is your series sponsor. Does look like we got a pretty tight battle here. We'll come back to it. As Alex Bahiri is fighting here for the 3rd position. On the inside of Dale, looks like he's not going to let Dale come off the corner quite as much. Dale right against that wall is going to get the better run off the corner, but Alex is there taking the shorter way around, and Dale just has too much speed for him on exit. He's going to take it clear into turn number 1. Continue thanking all our sponsors, Admin Fox, Lift Bodies, Mag Real Estate, who is your title sponsor for this race, and Speed Zone Race Control, who handles all your race control needs on Monday night in the Gen 6 series. But a huge shout out to James Wagner, huge shout out to the Wagner family. Happy birthday to you, James. Hopefully you enjoy it tomorrow. Hopefully you saved a little bit of the little Debbies that we sent over to you, as these guys are trying to do their best to put on a great race for you. Looks like tire strategy is starting to come into this thing. And we've got our second caution of the night. Looks like Chris Melton might have had an issue, so we're going to go back and check this out real quick. See if we can figure out what happened. Take it slow, get a better camera angle for everybody. It's coming off of 4 here. And the truck just shoots right up into the 78. That's not a great thing for Gall. He's already been introduced to 1 caution tonight. So I'm hoping that he didn't take too much damage, but see what's going on here. Try and get a better angle here and follow him through the corner. It just looks like the truck just shoots right. Like, I know we missed a little bit of it, and it doesn't look like anything crazy, but it just looks like the 49 of Chris Melton just shoots up. And it's pit stop time, folks. So you're going to see a majority of this field come down. Chris Melton, who was in that first round of pit stops, probably going to come down here. See if we can get you guys. Oh, these cameras suck tonight, huh? There we go. Chris Barker going to lead these guys down into pit road. He's going to be able to get an early pit box here with Matt Barker. A lot of these guys heading down. Chris Barker goes into the box here. Dalton Steele really trying to throw it in there. Going to take a second set of tires, it looks like here. So he's only going to have one extra set behind the wall. So hopefully on that first caution, Dalton was just up there fueling, man. Chris going to get off good here. Not going to lead them off pit road, though. John Houston with the move of the pit cycle. Maybe he just took fuel there. Really fast pit stop there for John Houston. He's going to take over first place. Chris Barker behind him in the second. Dale Adamson in third. Jumps a little bit. Don't know what happened there. Maybe I kind of want to go check that out real quick. So maybe nothing crazy. Not showing on my timer. Maybe just a little bit of blink. Alex Bahiri in fourth place. Daniel Love up into the fifth position. Dalton Steele in sixth. Matthew Barker here in seventh position. Jimmy Rowdy Pyland in the eighth spot. Number 58 of Johnny Hurst in the ninth position. Dougie Wagner representing the good old dad. We are really going to check this thing out right now. I want to make sure that you guys see how beautiful this paint scheme is. It says, "Happy birthday, Dad." Hopefully you guys were around for the beginning of this broadcast. He's got the good old smiley face helmet on tonight, enjoying some of this racing. Love seeing that. Up 3 spots, Rick Baldwin in the 11th position. Steven Shue right behind him. Chris Ramsey in the number 13th is sitting in 13th position. Tim Richardson up to 14th, up 4 spots. Pete Dillon up 4 spots into the 15th position. Chad Hawkins down 6 spots. Chris Melton must use that fast repair, but man, down 15 positions. Probably had to use that second set of tires as well. Matthew Gall gonna get the wave around here, so should get one of those laps back and round out your field is Jeffrey Ledford, who is currently out of this race. Want to send some love to Jeffrey, so let's get his info up on the board. North Wilkesboro County, North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, winning through listening, learning, and trying. Going to take you back up front, though, here with John Houston, who is your leader after a tremendous pit stop. Good on him. Lights should go off on the pace car here this time around. Love seeing you guys. Most importantly, love that you guys show up every week. If you're enjoying what you see, you want to see more, make sure you guys like, subscribe, put on your notifications here at K&S Sim Productions. We're looking to take on a couple more races here in the next couple months, a couple more series, and more details. So I promised these guys that we would have some information on the kids race coming up in the off season. So September timeframe, we're going to have a good old kiddo race. Make sure you guys stay tuned. We'll get all the details for that next week at our final race at Michigan Speedway. I think they almost call it Michigan International because it's so close to the Canadian border. John Houston really gambling here. Takes the outside lane for this restart. Chad Hawkins does look like he took a quick pit road, maybe taking some extra tires there. Hopefully he didn't check those tires on purpose. Don't want to use 2 sets on 1 pit stop. It's a long run. Chris Barker here. But I was saying before, thank you guys for showing up each and every week, no matter whether it's here at the Ruff-Neck-Racing gang, American Sheepdog gang. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and hang around. We'll be back for the finale next week. If you guys are looking for some fun racing and you guys are new here, this is Ruff-Neck-Racing, the James Wagner Welding Truck Series. Make sure you guys go give a Ruff-Neck-Racing a follow on Facebook, message them, try and figure out how to get a part of this thing. These guys should be coming up on recruitment for next season. They're still accepting guys every week, so don't be afraid to jump in for the last race. Chris Barker, John Houston going to lead these guys. John getting a good run here. Right behind him is his teammate. And they get off pretty good here. Too wide, 2x2. John Houston goes really wide. Not the way to get around here. Alex Bahiri going to try and take advantage of John taking that high line. Alex Bahiri just edging out John going here into 3 and 4. John Houston probably not taking tires. That outside lane, man, he is going to take and go for a ride here. Alex Bahiri up into the 2nd position here. Works his way around John. Going to try and cut off Dale. Maybe a little payback to Dale. Most of the rest of your field is single file, though. Jimmy Piling back here, just watching all the chaos ensue in front of him. Got to move in front of him. Dalton Steele in the 4th position, had an awesome pit stop. Trying to get back up to the lead of this race on the inside of Dale Adamson in that 746. Dale wanted to make sure everybody knew he wasn't going to miss the race. Also, question of the week, probably going to come up here around lap 50. We do it every time we're over here at Ruff-Neck-Racing. Have a question of the week, and this week, more of a parenting question. We got a parents question for this week, so make sure you guys all stay tuned. These guys are heading off into 4. Dalton Steele up to 3rd position, trying to get the move ready to go here on Alex Bahiri. Really on those fresher tires. Maybe guys just taking 2 or something. Christopher Barker, though, here up front, led over half this race, so he's hoping he can at least get that most laps led bonus points for this race. That 46 truck looking really strong. Alex Bahiri, though, and Dalton Steele really using that draft to catch to the back of him. Dirty Air seems to be a little bit of an issue in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, not too much. Alex Beery really trying to get on the back end of this, and you also see Dale Adamson in the picture, still in the camera frame. Behind them, though, John Houston has fallen back to 5th spot, maybe on those used tires. Not looking too good. Jimmy Pilen coming off a little shallow on that corner. Daniel Love, Matt Barker, Dougie Wagner, and Johnny Hurst all behind him, all the way back here to Steven Shue. Steven Shue, we're going to go on board with real quick and see what this whole thing looks like in front of him. That 00, really working that outside. Inside, got Johnny Hurst in that 58 steel Toyota. Really working that wheel, trying to save the tires here. Almost not even full throttle down the backstretch. That front group, though, these guys are pack racing. This is crazy. Does look like Dalton Steele does make it past Alex Beery. One more position to go here for Dalton Steele. Going to try and lock up that first position from Barker. Barker going to try and cut the nose of Dalton and make sure Dalton doesn't make it past him. Christopher Barker here really rolling the bottom side of this track tonight. Guys are getting a little too antsy at the beginning of this race, maybe. Calm down, hopefully a little bit once we get a run going. Try not to push the mark too much. Dalton Steele almost gets up into that wall. We'll see who else we got going on through the field. Chris Ramsey back here, hanging out with his group, just chilling in, locked in right behind Rick Baldwin right in front of him. Got a little 5-car battle going here for the 9th position. So these guys are all fighting for the 10th spot. Tim Richardson really just having a good time hanging out on track, maybe saving those tires for the end of this race. Right behind him, Pete Dillon. Haven't heard much from him tonight, but that's usually a good thing. Not causing any problems, just hanging out. Chad Hawkins right behind him. In the 17th position, Chris Melton coming around after a few early cautions. Matthew Gall here also coming out of turn 4. Back up front, though, Dalton Steele does take over the lead from Chris Barker. Alex Beery trying to work that outside on Chris Barker. These guys need to figure it out quick. Almost safer to go single file and try and stay on the tail of Dalton Steele. About a third of the way through this thing, really most of this race dominated by Dalton Steele and Chris Barker. These guys have led almost every lap. Yeah, every lap of this race between the two of them. Dale Adamson really noticing that Alex Beery is focusing a little too much on the front, not enough on the back, and Dale gets to his inside. Dale gonna give Alex the spot here. Dale really loving that diamond off the corner. Behind them, Jimmy Pilen really trying to work this group behind these guys. And I think since we didn't have one last week, it would be a beautiful time to maybe crank it up just a hair. And you really hear that checkup there from Chris, maybe catching a little bit of dirty air. Saved up a little bit of them tires, though. Dalton might have went a little too fast to the front. Trying to catch up to these guys. We do got a battle ensuing up front, though. Again, Chris Barker going to try and take it on the inside of Dalton Steele here, going into 3. Try and get those cameras corrected for you guys so you guys see all the battles up front and throughout the field. If you guys aren't focusing in on your driver too much, just let us know in the chat. We'll make sure we get them a shout out throughout this race and go on board with them, have some fun. Make sure you guys get the chance to talk to them. Does look like Chris Barker is going to settle in there in the 2nd position. Group behind them does look like they've settled down quite a bit as well. Nothing too crazy going on. Steven Shue here, battling Johnny Hurst really hard for that 9th position. Wants more, taking 6, wants that 7th position up. Your biggest mover of the race at the moment, though, Alex Beery, up 9 spots from the beginning of this race. Notice that there is a fan of the number 71 here, so Daniel Love just having some fun. Up 1 spot, not doing anything too crazy. Just settling in, trying to get some points tonight. Not too worried about running up front. That's how you do it. Found myself in victory lane a few times. Hopefully we see Daniel up here battling for a podium position later in the race. Chris Barker up here in 2nd position. Barker ladies, I see you out there. So hopefully you guys are tuning in and rocking hard while these Barker guys get it together. Other Barker guy hasn't fallen out of the top 10. He's still just chilling there in 7th position. Not a hard time. Smart position, I think. I rolled all the way in 13th till we were almost 30 laps to go. So don't want to pressure yourself too much, or you end up with a battle like this up front. These guys are really burning up these tires here. So Dalton really taking the air off the nose of that for Chris Barker. Don't know if that's the smartest move. Dale Adamson has a little bit of a different line than these guys. Barker, though, on the inside, gets a nose there. If he can come up even door panel on Dalton, he's going to have a really good run here. Might be clear going in. Dalton blinking a little bit there. Looks like he's leaving the space there. And Chris Barker is going to take over the 1st position once again. And his hope now is that Dalton Steele really holds up this 20 of Alex Bahiri. That Toyota of Christopher Barker looking really fast in that 46 Foothills paint scheme tonight. Guys, continue to fight hard here. We do got a side-by-side battle. So, does look like John Houston did decide to go down pit road and take some tires. Matt Barker back here. What's side by side? Oh, in front of them, though. Does look like we had a pretty crazy battle going on, and I'm missing it. Here we go. Alex Beery, Dale Adamson using that outside lane now. And like I said before, Dalton Steele really took advantage, or didn't take advantage. Chris Barker took advantage. Hope these guys would fight out, trying to hold these guys up by keeping them behind Dalton Steele. Dale is going to make the pass. But Chris, man, pretty good gap here. Makes it out to 1 second, so you're flirting with that possibility of losing the draft out here. Really good move for Chris. Got past Dalton fast. Make sure that he was cutting off the nose there, staying out of the lane that Dalton was running. Dale makes it up to 2nd. So Dale Adamson currently up into the 2nd position. He is up 4 spots from the beginning of this. Alex Beery, still your biggest mover, up 9 spots. Finally gets past Dalton Steele. Got to be frustrating, though, man. Loses a spot to Dale and then gets checked up a little bit behind Dalton, and it allows Chris Barker to take off. Dalton Steele currently in the 4th position. Jimmy Pilan in that 29, trying to tie Alex Beery at the moment for the biggest mover. He is currently up 8 positions at the beginning. Oh, blinks a little bit. Daniel Love is up 1 spot in the 6th position. Dougie Wagner right behind him, battling off Matt Barker. These guys love racing around each other, so they're having a good time. Currently in 9th position, up 2 spots, Johnny Hurst. Rick Baldwin, he gets tight. Rick Baldwin gets loose. Rick gets the run off the corner, and this is going to be a side-by-side battle going in to turn 1. Rick going a little low here. Needs to watch out. Make sure he doesn't wash up the track. Looks like he's going to get a decent run. Really got to fall. You got to fade all the way out to that turn right there. Or the straightaway, I should say. Steven Shue right behind these guys. Waiting to see if these guys make a mistake right in front of him. Tim Richardson Back here in the 14th, right in front of him are Chad Hawkins and Chris Ramsey. And Matthew Gall, who did find himself a lap down. He's just rocking, hoping for those lucky dogs. Chris Melton running his own race right now. John Houston did pit. So first of the green flag runners, 4 pit stops. Matthew Gall again. And Jeffrey Ledford is currently your only driver out of this race. And maybe we can go back to the track. There we go. Dale Adamson here, though, second place. Fast truck, Alex Bahiri closing in on him. These guys are really trying to make sure that they don't battle too hard. They use the time to try and catch Chris Parker, who's built up a lead. 1.22 second gap to these guys. On your left-hand side, you can see the current active gap. Barker continues to increase that gap every lap. Dale looking a little loose on exit there. Maybe chasing the truck up the track. Guys look like they have slowed down the pace quite a bit. Next time by, we will be halfway through this MAG Real Estate 100. Again, want to thank you all for joining us tonight over here, the James Wagner Truck Series. If you guys hadn't heard before, it is Mr. James Wagner's birthday. If you haven't had a chance, wish him a happy birthday. Want to say happy birthday to you, man. Thanks for helping putting all this on for us. Your son out there with the sick whip. Oop, there we go. That number 30 truck. Try and get a beautiful view of that. We're going to get a little nose cam going here. That happy birthday dad truck. Really slowing down up there. About a couple trucks in front of them, though. Jimmy Pilen getting really loose. We're going to watch the back end of this truck coming out of corner and see if we can figure out, maybe he's just getting a little air taken off of him, or if he's really fighting that truck. Yep, getting a little air taken off the back, but also looks like he's a little loose on exit. Jimmy Pilen here in that 29 truck. Been doing pretty good, tied with Alex Beery for the biggest mover. Both up 9 positions, so started side by side at the beginning of this race. Now they find themselves chasing each other at the front of this pack. Dalton Steele did get passed by Jimmy Pilen, but Jimmy getting reeled in a little bit there. Alex Bahiri, though, the 3rd position. Trying to reel in Dale back. Was doing a really good job, but with these used tires, I would almost say it's time to pit. If you've got 2 extra sets of tires, this is when I'm pitting. Because you don't want to wait too late. You start getting tight. Jimmy there getting into the wall. Dalton Steele going to make the pass. 71 of Daniel Love going to try and make the pass on the outside here of Jimmy Pilen. I'm just throwing, if I'm in the top 5, I'm throwing a heater out there because you get fresher tires. Yeah, you might have to pit later in the race, but you got to, if you're fighting for a championship right now, you really, you got to take the risk. The worst thing that can happen, you lose a few points after showing up. I mean, but if I'm 20, 30 points outside of winning the championship, I'm taking it here. Chris Parker, though, is taking it. Has that gap almost up to 2 seconds right now on Adamson. Alex Bahiri and Adamson currently battling for that 2nd spot, so this is all Parker wants to see. See green flags, doesn't want to see any yellow flags come out right now, and just wants to rock to the end of this race. Been pretty green flag most of this race, had 2 cautions. Story of the race right now, Chris Parker dominating this thing. Dalton Steele led a few laps, so you've only had 2 leaders this entire race, but he's putting on a clinic out there. Chris, always a fast guy, always here in the Truck Series. Was your winner last week, so hopes to continue on the momentum. Pete Dillon coming out of pit road. So this cycle, probably Pete Dillon being your first, so if it's any kind of like information on what we're going to see here in the next few laps, might be that these guys are closing in on the pit stop window. So I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe Alex Bahiri makes a move here, goes in a little early, tries to get the undercut on these guys. It's all going to be based on fuel. These guys need about 43 laps to make it to the end. But that early tire run can build a big advantage for you. Christopher Barker up here, running in the first spot, up 2 positions, and before these guys hit pit stops, let's roll through the field. First position, Chris Barker. Second place here, Alex Bahiri. Dale Adamson currently running in the third spot out of Sanford, Florida. Dalton Steele right behind him in that 71 and heads to pit road, so he's going to give up that fourth position. Jimmy Pioneer in that 29 Chevrolet. Right behind him, Dougie Wagner up into the sixth position. Right behind them, Mr. Matthew Barker. Rick Baldwin in the 8th position. Johnny Hurst right behind him in that 9th spot, up 2 positions from the beginning of this race. Chris Ramsey in the 13th, down 1 spot. Chad Hawkins here in the 11th. Tim Richardson in the 12th spot here. Out of Longwood, Florida, Chris Melton. John Houston in 14th. Trying to work that lap back on fresher tires than everybody, but he's going to be a little slower once everybody makes their pit stop rounds. Dalton Steele here, coming out of pit road. Currently looks like he's in 16th position. Pete Dillon here in the 17th spot was your first green flag pitter. Matthew Gall right behind him in the 18th position. And Jeffrey Ledford, the only gentleman out of this race. Tim Richardson, though, he's going to start off or continue this round of pit stops. Comes down pit road, tries to use a little bit of strategy we had just talked about. If you're battling for some points in this race, you're going to risk it here. Jimmy Pilen comes down pit road. Dougie Wagner, Rick Baldwin, Chris Ramsey, all down pit road. Leader right now coming down pit road. Chris Barker's going to give up the lead to Alex Bahiri. Alex Bahiri and Dale are going to stay out here on track. Alex making a gap to Dale Adamson. Going to take over the lead. So he's really doing the opposite of what we had talked about, folks. So the strategy call for me would have been to pit early, get on fresher tires, hopefully pull away from Chris Barker, but he's going to take the overcut. So this is going to give him fresher tires. But to really make this work, well, I was going to say, you really want to make this work, you stay out about 4 or 5 laps longer. But the fuel situation off the last caution. So Alex Bahiri going to lose some time to Dale Adamson coming into pit road. Alex Bahiri here, your new leader, Matthew Barker, staying out on old tires. Listening to the man in the booth here. Stay out for those extra few laps. Yes, your tires are going to be slower. Yes, these guys are going to get back on the lead lap. But if you can stay out anywhere between 5 to 15 laps longer than everybody else, your tires are really going to reel in. And it does look like Barker ran this thing out of fuel. So maybe not the best strategy if you're that close on fuel. I see you over there, American Sheepdog League. Looking forward to tomorrow night when we head to Texas. You guys don't know American Sheepdog. They are sister league here over at Ruff-Neck. These guys run Next Gen Series on Thursday. Little bit in cahoots. I heard of starting an ARCA Series on Tuesday next season. Next season's going to start end of September. We're going to have some dual racing going. You guys can catch all the dual race action on KNS Sim Production. Going to be a good time. The only right way to qualify for a spot at Daytona is to have a dual race. So, want to say, hope you guys are having a good night. Appreciate you guys over at American Sheepdog Racing League for having me over there on the broadcast Thursday night. Maybe see a new voice in the booth with me tomorrow night at American Sheepdog Racing. Might catch him next Wednesday in the Truck Series doing the same. Pit cycles are really starting to wear out. Looks like Johnny Hurst might have had an issue, maybe a speeding penalty. Your current leader, John Houston, blinking a little bit. Right behind him, Dalton Steele. Dalton Steele is your first driver on fresh tires. So he's going to try and reel in. Steven Shue right here. Don't believe he's pitted yet. Steven really working the fuel strategy. Might have pitted, might have not. Don't think he did. Your effective leader, though, of the race is Chris Barker, as long as he can make it to the end on fuel. That's a surprise. Nothing crazy. I wouldn't do anything crazy to you, but nobody crazy. So someone just wanted to get some booth experience. I figured since we're testing here, we'd have a good time. Let some folks try out the booth every once in a while, especially if they aren't points racing, have some fun. So, all right, so we're a little past lap 50. We're going to have the question of the race, folks. So we're going to put it back up on your lead battle here. John Houston getting reeled in by Dalton Steele. And your answers go in the chat. So, question of the race. And this is a parental question. So, I see you in the chat. You never know. Anyways, oh, your leader blinking a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on someone who hasn't blinked this race, Steven Shue, while we talk about this. And maybe we'll just pop it on exciting. There we go. And do a little bit of that. Anyways, so the question of the race for the parents out there, and it's not judgmental. So if you guys are seeing these questions, put up you're in the race, and you see answers in the chat, no judgment, unless Ricky's here. If Ricky Evans here, all judgment, all afforded. So the question of the day is, did you, when you had your first kid, think the nurse had no idea what she was doing? This is a question, so answer however you want. Explain it in the chat. Say yes or no. Leave a thumbs up, leave a thumbs down, however you want to do it. Let us know in the chat. Did you think that the nurse that was around for your first child had any clue of what they were doing? He, she, whatever, was chilling in there with you in the room? But I can't tell you who does know what he's doing. Dalton Steele up here finds himself up into first place. And this is huge, everybody. He is on same tire strategy right now as Alex Bahiri pitted a little earlier. Alex Bahiri makes it past Chris Barker here. So I don't know what happened, but he had a pretty big gap on Alex, so maybe he just got loose on fresher tires. So that's a pretty good answer there. Hoping she did. Awesome. That's good to hear. Nurses were amazing. So if you guys don't know, I'm Kai Shepard. This is KNSN Productions. Might be my last race of the season, so we'll see. Depends on when Kiddo decides to show up. So if not, I'll be here Wednesday night of next week with you guys, folks here. I will be here tomorrow night, Thursday, for the American Sheepdog Racing League here at Texas. Broadcast will kick off at 8:20 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you guys catch all the action. Alex Bahiri, though, really dominating up here on Chris Barker. Chris doing really good in fresh air. Man, John Houston does take to pit road, so he's going to be your last green flag. Does look like he might have got caught speeding there, so hopefully got checked down enough to make up for that speed. Alex, though, up 10 spots, tied for your biggest mover with Steven Shue, up 10 spots as well. Steven's starting to lose a little bit on those tires, pitted a little earlier than everybody. It is Pappy time. I'm excited. So if you guys notice the ticker on the bottom, this is new. Might have forgot to update it for this race, but we'll have all brand new news each week for you guys on the ticker on the bottom. Had a little bit going on. Gonna check out up here. So if you guys don't know, this is Alex Bahiri's favorite cam, but he's not gonna have the blessing of having it on the nose. We're gonna go nose cam with Mr. Chris Barker here as he head into turn 3 here at Texas, trying to chase down Alex Bahiri. Runs that turn 3 and 4 a little bit on Alex. Alex looks like he's got his number on 1 and 2, so these guys are really balanced out in the run here. See what's going on behind here. Got a battle here between Daniel Love and James Wagner. Right behind Chris Barker. Steven Shue kind of falling off the pace here, but pretty good pit strategy in all honesty. Found himself up 10 spots, so I mean, it's not hurting him. Nothing too crazy. So, works for him. Hopefully he's got enough fuel to make it to the end of this thing. Back here, though, Chris has caught the back of Alex. These guys are going to start to battle here. Only thing is, Dalton Steele has almost taken over the gap that Christopher Barker had on the last run. These guys don't have a lot of green flag racing left. I mean, we got 26 to go this time by. So if I'm Alex and Chris, I'm working together right now. These guys, and it looks like Barker might have had another mistake. Alex is is cutting into that lead of Dalton, though. He's cut 2/10 out of it the last couple laps. We'll try and get that data on for you guys real quick. Show you guys what's going on here, and that's not the one we wanted. There we go. So, compared to Parker, oh, Alex Bahiri. Huge mistake coming out of the corner. Don't know what happened here. He did have some issues before, so we'll see what happened. Was he, I don't think he was pitting. Maybe just some wheel issues. Gets a little loose. Had some, talked about it earlier. He was having some wheel issues. Decides to tow it. Doesn't take any damage, so should be able to finish up. But he did have some wheel issues at the beginning of this race. So Chris Barker's job now, pretty simple. Hunt down Dalton Steele and get the back-to-back wins. Chris Barker up here in the second position. And I think it's a good time. So just to put it in perspective, since Homestead and Texas, for all of you out there, up to this point, we've only had 3 cautions in the last 2 weeks. Over at ASDR, same thing. We've only had about 3-4 cautions the last 2 weeks. Race is really cleaned up over here. It's been awesome to see. These guys are getting faster too. And telling you who's getting faster, Christopher Barker. You're going to see over on the left side of your screen here, he has reeled Dalton Steele in, cutting that lead down to 1.3 seconds here. And usually we would do a few more funny commercials. I created all of them for you, but I'm going to tell you, I've used all this time to go out and try to find these commercials, and I don't even get to use them because these guys are racing so clean. But I think it's only fair to you guys in the viewership side of things. We roll one more time through the field. So first place right now out of Crooksville, Ohio, Dalton Steele. Second place out of North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, in that 46 Toyota. Trying to hunt down the leader right now, Mr. Christopher Barker. In the third position, Daniel Love, rocking that 71 Ford Performance Ford F-150. In the fourth spot, the happy birthday dad, number 30, Mr. Dougie Wagner. Happy birthday to James Wagner. Appreciate everything you do for this league. Oh, looks like he got a little tight right as we took the camera off of him, so I mean, no one saw that. Stephen Shue in the fifth position, up 11 spots, your biggest mover. 29 of Jimmy Rowdy Pilot out of Midwest Oklahoma. Putting that Chevrolet currently in the sixth position, up 7 spots. Dale Adamson behind him from Sanford, Florida, running for Limitless Motorsports in the 746 Chevrolet. Down 1 spot, still in the top 10. Rick Baldwin up 6 positions right behind him in that 19 McDonald's Toyota. I don't know why that 20 to go looks so weird. So we're going to turn off that. Dougie Wagner taking a pit stop here. So Matt Barker is going to make up the position here out of Roaring River, North Carolina. Chad Hawkins right behind him in that 84 Ford. Chris Ramsey here, currently in the 11th position. Don't want to miss anybody, so Chris Melton is up to 10th position. After a few incidents at the beginning of this race, Tim Richardson here and the number 2 from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, currently running in the 12th position. Dougie Wagner currently coming out of the pits, down to 13th after an awesome run, maybe an early pit stop. Johnny Hurst out of Corbin, Kentucky, currently running in the 14th spot. Matthew Gall, number 78 out of New Braunfels, Texas. I think that's how you say it. Coming down to pit road. John Houston behind him in the 16th position. Pete Dillon right behind those guys out of Philadelphia in that 63 Toyota. Alex Beery still trying to tow, and the only member out of this race is Jeffrey Ledford. Jeffrey, we hope we see you next week back here at Ruff-Neck-Racing. Back up front, though, Dalton Steele having a great time, but not too great of a time. It's right behind him, rocking and rolling. Chris Barker is cutting that lead down to less than a second. Chris really getting a run off that corner. Go on board with Chris here, see how he's doing it. Sounds like he's just easing the throttle going in to 3 and 4 here. Dalton gets a little loose, bouncing off the bottom of that track, comes up to the wall. He's going to scrub off some speed. And two corners, if you're listening to iRacing. In just 2 corners, Chris Barker made up 15 100ths of a second. He's going to continue to do it as that back end of Dalton Steele's car. We got some pit stops here, though, from the front of this crowd. Steven Shue goes down pit road, followed by Jimmy Rowdy Pilan. This makes me think that these guys up front maybe don't have enough fuel to make it to the end of this thing. Dalton Steele, your leader, heading down pit road, trying to get that thing wound up and down to the pit limit, which is 45 miles an hour. Gets a little bit of a wiggle, so hopefully didn't get caught speeding there. We're going to throw these logos off. Rick Baldwin all the way up to 3rd, up 11 spots from the beginning of this race. Your leader, though, Chris Parker, takes over the lead here. 15 laps to go. Makes me wonder if a lot of these guys are short on fuel, though. Want to thank all our sponsors here at Ruff-Neck-Racing that make this James Wagner Welding Truck Series come together. MAG Real Estate San Antonio, Texas, your title sponsor for the race, the MAG Real Estate 100. If you need any real estate needs in the San Antonio, Texas area, hit up MAG Real Estate. It will help you get your house bought, maybe rent it out, have some fun, get a good buy. Go out there into the San Antonio, Texas area and hit up a MAG Real Estate. Lift Bodies. You need any lifting needs in the North Carolina area, hit up Lift Bodies out of North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Admin Box. You need any admin box kind of work done. You want a custom one? You want a fun one? You want a pre-built one? Hit up Admin Box. They'll take care of all your admin box needs, even coding. Their manuals are pretty awesome. I was reading through one too, like pretty detailed. So appreciate all the companies that go out there, work out of their way to get us awesome race controllers and broadcasters, some awesome admin boxes. And guess what? They work for racing too. You want to be cool and start your NASCAR? You want to be cool and start your truck? Guess what? You can do anything with this admin box, dude. I even saw a video of a lighter. Someone was turning on a lighter with this thing. So make sure you guys check out Admin Box and let them know that you swung by. Chris Barker here, rolling in. We're going to have 10 laps to go here in the MAG Real Estate 100. Most importantly and most thankfully, we want to thank our sponsor of the series, James Wagner Welding out of North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Not too sure. Want to make sure we're live. Does say we're still 11 laps to go, so maybe counting the laps a little too early, but got a few laps going here. Barker's going to try and save up some fuel here. Make sure he can make it to the end. Rick Baldwin, though, your biggest mover of the race, almost half a track behind your leader, up 12 spots from the beginning of this thing. Barker finds himself back up into 3rd. Started 4th this race. The Barker boys really coming together this race. Chad Hawkins in 4th, and to round out your top 5, Chris Melton had some issues at the beginning of this race, finds himself back up into the top 5. Steven Shue there you see in your background trying to race back for that lap back on the fresh set of tires. These guys are going to come across the line with 9 to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. If you guys are looking for all the content on Wednesday night racing, we're over here at Ruff-Neck-Racing for the James Wagner Welding on Wednesday nights. Next week, catch us at 7:20 Eastern Time for the final race of the season at Michigan. Got some beautiful things squared away for that. You guys had a fun time tonight. Make sure you like, subscribe the video. Leave a thumbs up in the chat if the audio was awesome. If it completely sucked, leave a thumbs down. Helps us maybe fix some issues. So Steven Shue really working that leader right now. Chris is trying to use the bottom line to let Steven Shue go. Chris Barker out of fuel. I don't know what Steven Shue's doing here, man. Maybe just using the draft, but it's not very smart because Dalton Steele's going to steal that position from Steven. If I'm Steven, I don't know if I'm rocking that. I'm getting around Chris as fast as possible. Maybe Steven just trying to do the right thing, help out a friend in need. really work that bump draft for him, try and get him the win here. Does look like Chris is running out of fuel here. Doesn't have to worry too much, could probably half throttle it the rest of this race. He is over 19 seconds ahead of your second place, Rick Baldwin. Matt Barker right behind them, 22 seconds back from your leader. Chad Hawkins, Chris Melton about 29 seconds. These guys are battling for position right in front of the leader. Dalton Steele right in that mix with them as well. All trying to battle for that fourth spot. Does look like Dalton Steele does have the freshest of the tires. Chris Barker though, I want to see what's going on with him. We'll see if it'll show what's going on. So he's running about the same lap times as Rick Baldwin, so he doesn't really, even faster last lap, so he really doesn't have to worry about anything behind him. D Love, Mr. Daniel Love, is in the 8th position, and all sorts of traffic though. We've got a battle here. Does look like Chad Hawkins was in the mix of this thing. We've got 5 drivers battling for the same real estate. Dalton still gets past all of them for the 4th spot. Chris Barker up here in the 1st spot, getting a little push from Steven Shue. Steven Shue probably trying to help out a friend in need. Get to the end of this race. But back battling for position, we're here with Dougie Wagner. Gonna see what's going on behind him, see if this racing's all it's cracked up to be, and it looks like it. These guys have not wrecked yet. Daniel Love gets the run here on Dougie Wagner. Gonna go on his inside. Dougie gonna really give that room to Daniel, but try and pinch him on the bottom. Daniel's gonna get right by him. Check behind him. Does look like he's got some space to Chris Melton and Chris Melton. Chris Melton and Chad Hawkins. Apologies. Long day at work, everybody. 3 laps to go here. Chris Barker, your leader, coming through 1 and 2. Hoping that he has enough fuel to finish off the back-to-back wins here in the Truck Series. Won last week at Homestead. He's going to come across the line. We're going to have 2 to go here at the Mag Real Estate 100 at Texas Motor Speedway. He's going to cross this line here. Hopefully doesn't run out of fuel. Top 3, Rick Baldwin right behind him. Doesn't really have to worry about anything. Barker right behind him. Dalton Steele is almost a straightaway behind, so don't see any issues. Oh, Barker blinking a little bit. You don't want to see that. Barker can keep this together for 1 more lap, even if he's got to half throttle it. If I'm Barker right now, I'm half throttling this entire last lap. Keeping up the revs a little bit, but you want to stay low revs throughout the last lap. Save up this fuel. His friend, teammate even, Steven Shue out there. Barker looks like he's ran out of fuel. We still have 1 lap to go. Rick Baldwin, maybe not quite out yet, really half throttling it. The last lap, Rick's not going to have enough time, so I think if Chris Barker even runs out of fuel here with Steven Shue pushing him. Got 1 final turn here in the Mag Real Estate 100. Your leader is running on fumes, coming across the line 2 weeks in a row. Your winner, Christopher Barker in the 46. Right behind him, coming through turns 3 and 4, Rick Baldwin, running a great race, trying to run away from Matt Barker. Barker got the run on him though. This is going to be a battle to the line. Rick maybe be out of fuel. Barker, Mr. Ace is going to finish second, still in second place from Rick Baldwin as Rick Baldwin falls out of fuel. Coming across the line. Man, what a finish. What a beautiful finish here at Texas. Rick still makes it onto the podium. Awesome, awesome finish. Rest of your top 5, Dalton Steele in 4th, Daniel Love. We're going to have all the results for you here in just a second. Make sure we get the right ones because it always likes to go to qualify. Your results for the race. Christopher Barker, your winner here at the Mag Real Estate 100, Texas Motor Speedway. Matt Barker barely finishing off in 2nd place. Rick Baldwin finishing in 3rd for Social Outcast Racing. These guys will have their interview here within the next 5 minutes, so stay tuned for that. Dalton Steele 4th, Daniel Love 5th, Dougie Wagner 6th, Chris Melton 7th, Chad Hawkins 8th, Jimmy Rowdy Pilin in 9th, Chris Ramsey in 10th. Dale Adams in 11th. Stephen Shue 12th. Houston 13th. Johnny Harrison 14th. Tim Richardson 15th. Pete Dillon in the 16th position. Matthew Gall 17th. Alex Bahiri 18th. And to round out your field that is not showing on screen, Mr. Jeffrey Ledford. Jeffrey, we saw you in the chat. Apologies on your connection issues, friends. We're going to get these guys all riled up in the Discord. Hopefully it doesn't show up too much. Yep, there we go. Just kind of shows up wherever it wants to on my screen. There we go. Sweet. So we will be right back after this quick commercial break while we get these folks all squared away.
Being the new face of Don't Mess with Texas comes with a lot of responsibility. I think I'm settling in quite nicely. Thanks. Everybody loves me here.
I've worked here for so long, all my life. I can't wait to go home.
Yeah, this is the boss. Oh. No. Get rid of all the trash. Don't mess with Texas. I just want to help keep Texas clean. And maybe spice some things up around here.
Lasso the barrel! Lasso the...
I don't know how we can do this.
Daryl! Somebody give me Daryl the barrel, please.
I'll never litter, Joe.
Don't mess with Texas means don't litter.
All right, folks, we are back. We're going to round up your third place winner. Just misses it by a hair. That fuel running out on the last lap. Still catches the podium, though. Rick Baldwin, man, what a race. From being outside the top 10 to finding yourself in third position at the end of this thing. How you feeling tonight, man?
I'm real happy with the result. Yeah, even if we just got third, I was short by half a straightaway. But yeah, I spent the whole race trying to learn because I didn't get any practice in, and then it worked out with this fuel strategy. I was saving immediately. I saw I was short.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. Even Barker, he was getting pushes from his teammate just to make it to the end of this race and win this thing. But man, it was crazy watching that. That last lap thing, Matt Barker gets right past you to finish the 1-2 with the Barker boys. But Rick, you had one heck of a race. Even for a while, you were the biggest mover through the field. How did the truck feel tonight here at Texas?
It felt real good, but I was under driving for a lot of the race, so it's easy to feel comfortable when you're purposely driving slow. It worked out for me tonight, though.
Well, man, we head to Michigan next week for the final race of the season. How are you looking forward to it, or are you kind of like, oh man, I wish it wasn't that track?
Yeah, I like tracks that are a little tricky, and Michigan, it is what it is. I'll do my best.
Well, man, the biggest thing that you get to do when you come up into this booth at the end of the race is thank any and everybody you want, sponsors, friends, family, cousins, whoever you want to, man, even a random lady on the side of the road. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, Mag Real Estate, thank you for sponsoring. Wagner's Welding, thanks for sponsoring and watching. Appreciate all the support, and you, Kai, doing that broadcast. And my teammate Matt Gall there. We really strategize and work well together, so I'm looking forward to working with him some more. And all my friends over at River Mill Bar and Grill. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, you have a great night, and we look forward to seeing you next week here at KNSM Productions at Michigan.
Thank you. Thanks. Take care.
All right, folks. Well, man, right at the end of this race, Matt Barker finds himself into second right across the finish line. Barker, I was scared for you for a little bit, man, but you ended up rounding out a top 2. So how's it feel?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Great, man. I did not have the fastest truck tonight by no means, but punching the calculators mid-race definitely really helped. I took a 2-tire stop to try to get track position, I think on our first fuel run, and run it all the way down. Like, I was punching numbers, strategizing, and that's what prevailed tonight is just the right strategy and the right numbers.
Well, it looked like probably towards the middle of this race, you might have had an issue or maybe just a slow pit stop, but you fell through the field a little bit. Was there anything that happened on pit road that might have caused that?
Yeah, just a couple miscues there, not paying attention to speed, lost a couple mile there, and then I think some of the guys might have tucked two on that first stop. I'm not sure. And I took all four, and that did. Well, I think we lost 5 positions on that stop, but so I tried to gain them back mid race, and then, like I say, punching numbers and strategizing on fuel. And I seen if I run it down, I'd have just enough to make it. And a lot of the guys wasn't expecting it to run out like that. And again, strategy is what played a factor in me getting second.
Well,
Another lap, Chris. I would have had Chris because he was running out too.
Oh yeah, we were watching him on the. We were watching all three on the fuel strategy.
I
So
still had a lap and a half to go, so I was still good. So
yeah. Well, the most important thing is we head to Michigan for the last race of the season next week. How do you feel about Michigan heading into next week?
Michigan is a track that I favor at, so I look to do well next week. I think last season, me and Jimmy, my teammate, finished 1-2 last season, both times. So I'm excited for Michigan. Hopefully we can bring James Wagoner and Ruff-Neck a win next week.
Well, last and most certainly not the least, you got to thank all your friends, families, cousins, random lady walking down in a Walmart aisle, whoever you want to thank. The floor is yours, Matt.
Yes, I'd like to first thank James Wagner's Welding for everything that he does. He's a big part of this Ruff-Neck-Racing. So big shout out to him. I'd like to thank Mag Motors Real Estate. Of course, my wife, my kids, and I got a friend of mine, Susan. She always watches, so shout out to her. Finally put it on the podium for him. I think she was watching tonight, so she brought me some luck tonight.
Heck yeah, man. Well, hey, I hope you have a great night. It's awesome to finally see you up here and being able to interview you. We talk all the time, but I haven't seen you in the booth yet, and it's good to see you here. And hopefully next week we see you interviewing last in the winner's circle.
Yeah, I been struggling this year, but we've had one win, and then I think maybe just a couple podiums all season. So it's been a struggle this season, but next week for sure. Look for us to be up front.
All right, Matt. You have a good night, man.
Hey, appreciate you. Thank you, Kyle.
All right, folks. Well, back-to-back weeks, we get to talk to the man, the myth, the legend, Chris. Another crazy finish and another crazy win. You've running out of fuel towards the end of that race, man. How's it feel to win another one?
Awesome, man. I can't thank nobody tonight but Stephen Shue. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here.
Man, it seemed pretty crazy throughout the race. Fell back a little bit through pit stops, and I was a little concerned maybe we wouldn't see up front. But then I saw the pit stop. Dalton still kind of got out of strategy a little bit, and then seemed like Alex Bahiri had some wheel issues. Tried to keep it out of your way. He came up here and kind of told us, hey, I didn't want to ruin his race, so I just shot it to the bottom of the track. But we find you in the front, and man, there was no doubt. I thought you were gonna. As soon as I saw you in the top three, I knew you were gonna have at least the top two, and I wasn't sure which Barker was gonna finish where.
I appreciate it, man. I got to shout out Alex. He was texting me while I was racing, like, go for it, man. He was telling me his wheel. I knew something happened. I knew he didn't just wreck, the way he went off the track. I got out to that 1.8 second advantage there, and when I pitted, I slid past my pit box, and I'm like, well, I just lost every advantage I had, and me and Alex basically come out together. I fell in behind them there. I've never used like a fuel calculator or anything, and the way these races have been going, I'm like, I can't sit here and do math in my head during the race. You're kind of trying to concentrate. I need something to tell me, like, when the pit window opens. Go now, you can make the end of the race. And I tried one tonight, and it shorted me a lap. Oh. So I backed off and fell in behind Alex there, hoping to try to save some fuel, and it wasn't working out. So Steven, he took one for the team, and, he pitted, got fresh tires, and just jumped in behind me there and pushed me around.
Well, we head next week to Michigan, and Michigan's almost like an odd version of a super speedway, but not a super speedway. Are you and the teammates going to rock it together, or are you guys going to kind of do your individual things with it being the last race of the season?
I will just have to hop into practice and see, man. I can't. I should be third in points now, which is I've missed 3 races this season, so I thought I'd be way out of the points, you know. But maybe I can get another trophy here.
Yeah. Well, the most important thing that you got to do at the end of every interview, especially when you win the race, you got to thank everybody you want to, man. So, Chris, take it away.
Absolutely. Once again, I can't thank Steven enough. I owe him big time. He's done this twice for me now. He done it over in Sheepdog last season. I got to thank Jamie. I talked to him a little bit the other day. Have me another trophy ready, buddy. I'll be there to get it. Got to thank you, man. You're doing an awesome job. All the admins, everybody over at Ruff-Neck, the sponsors, Matt Gall. I guess that's pretty much it. Got to thank the wife and kids. I'm sure they were cheering me on.
Yes, sir. Well, we look forward to seeing you next week at Michigan. Chris, congratulations on back-to-back wins here in the James Wagner Welding Truck Series, and you have a good night, man.
Thanks, guy. Good night.
All right, folks. Well, you heard it here. We are rocking out of Texas with your back-to-back winner, Chris Barker. Tomorrow night, catch us over at American Sheepdog Racing. The broadcast will take off around, I like to give you guys a rough start because sometimes, you know, iRacing being weird. We're going to start the broadcast a little earlier tomorrow so we can figure out the issues. We've got some special stuff planned for you guys over there. Going to start the broadcast at 8:20 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. And that's all I got. We can't think of anything else. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for letting me broadcast over here. Thank you for joining Ruff-Neck. Look forward to seeing you guys next week at Michigan. We got one to go.